And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan?
Hey, this is Tucker Carlson. I don't know. He was working for Fox News previously. I don't know who these people came from. These political commentators you have in America, they're either like comedians or they came from some media corporation, So either way, I'm just using it to illustrate one point, but this thing is getting me frustrated, I'm going to give my opinion about it. But
Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably.
Well, what evidence do you have? What evidence you have about he was working for Israel? What?
Not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working?
Yeah, you have every right to ask, but that's all you can do. See, that's the main thing, Y'all can just keep talking amongst yourself. You can never fix any problem. See, the difference between me and all the other people, covering this topic and all that, I don't look at it like as one specific, incident or whatever situation or whatever you want to call it. It's like you have to look at the entire thing, and I'm not just saying America itself, like the entire Western civilization. Now, I don't want to get ahead of...
Go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan.
And this is shocking to you? This is shocking? I mean, the easiest thing to do in America is make money. Well, if you have some brain cells that you can, if you're not dumb, you can make it with speculation and what's the word? I always struggle with this word, financialization. You don't have to produce anything of value. The only thing that you can do in America is make money. So I don't understand. It's like, wow, he got money. How you got money too? How much your net worth? You're probably worth 100 million. How did you make that money?
And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government.
And what evidence do you have? What evidence? I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying, what is the evidence? Why do you want to link it specifically to Israel? Well, I know why. Because it's the Jews. And this is the main problem with the West. You have a deeply, ingrained, I think, it's the right word, I believe. This psychotic hatred that you have against Jews. You always hated Jews. So now because of the conflict in Gaza, right? You want to link the two. You want to just use the opportunity. These I don't want to say it's anti-Semitism, but this anti-Jewish hatred have risen drastically after that genocide that y'all committing, in Palestine. And that was expected because this Jewish hatred was just under the surface. It was just hidden. Previous to October 7, people were denying, the Holocaust and, sometimes, making nasty comments about Jews and all that. Well, now they're justifying the Holocaust. They're not even denying it. They're saying openly that Adolf Hitler had a point. I'm just talking about these. Anytime you do something and you're trying to link it to the Jews, you say the Jews did it. Well, I don't know what planet you live in, but this conspiracy is old. It's literally thousands of years old. And you're still using it in 2025. Nobody believes you.
Say that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into...
And people cheering because there's no... See, even what they do in this type of debate, it's like you have these... almost all the time, you have these only two sides. You take any issue, whatever, right? And you will have two opposing, sides that you can pick from. And that's it. And every side has these parameters, these boundaries. that you cannot cross, right? And so no critical thinking. Nobody is allowed to think for themselves. And that's why my content is not very popular, because I have this thing called the brain, and I use it sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I use it. And when I use it, I find the shit that these morons are saying is crazy, and it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. There's no logic in it. You know, even the victims themselves. I was doing a little bit of research for the next video I'm doing, and I was reading. They're saying, oh, there's 1,000 victims. Okay, they were not victims, but that's beyond the point. Well, only 36 of them get identified. Well, what about the 900, you know? Like, you can't even get anything from these people. And just y'all sitting there speculating.
There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that.
There is hateful, because that's all you are. You're a bunch of hateful people. You don't just hate the Jews. You hate everybody. You hate Africans and Russians and Chinese and Latinos. At this point, we have to figure out who you do not hate. That's what I want to know. Because you hate literally everybody.
About saying there's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in
the reason you have anti-Semitism laws, you know, is because they know what the people are doing in the society. That's why they have to make these laws to regulate that situation. There is no anti-Semitism laws in other region of the world. Why?
Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting US president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in it.
Okay, well, you haven't ever fixed that CIA. Okay, you keep talking about it, you keep criticizing, writing an article about it and all that, but you never fix the root of the problem. This is what I say. My analysis about this type of topic is completely different. It gets people defensive. Not because I'm wrong. You say, well, there's like a problem with the CIA. Yes, they have committed multiple atrocities, but you never fixed the problem. Why? Because you just want to, you know, everything is on the surface. You're not allowed to address the root cause of the problem. But you know what's the root cause of the problem? Is this Western civilization. That's the entire thing. Like, this is where everything emerges. This white supremacy, this racism, this colonialism, imperialism, the genocide that you're committing right now. Everything emerged from this civilization. Everything, the culture, the degeneracy, and it's very hard, you know, to come to terms with it. It's very challenging for people to accept this, because it's like, and also this thing about, like, you don't get to decide who talks about America and who says what. It's like only an American. You know, I was watching this video about Noam Chomsky, the economist, and he was talking about, like, I've seen one comment of one guy. He said, the guy in the comment said, you're an American and it's very brave of you. Well, why does it have to be American? Only an American can say that same thing. If somebody who's not American say the same thing, all of a sudden it's no longer valid. This is the weirdest thing about this. This motherfucker, what kind of rationale is that? I've been here
for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior...
You live there. You know why you live there? Because you won't be accepted in any culture. What are you going to go to? Kuwait and trying to do these podcasts and speeches? Ain't nobody's going to listen to you. The only people you can talk to is American. Because they're the only people who are able to digest this nonsense. Ain't nobody in the world believe this nonsense about some guy was blackmailed by some other guy, and they had connection with these nefarious Jews, and they're infiltrating our government. Ain't nobody believe these bullshit.
It does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. You expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interests. That's not creepy.
Well, okay, well, even if that was true, even if there was like, okay, there's Israel is a legit state and it's infiltrating there. Okay, well, why? Why is it happening? This is the most powerful government in the world. So what makes these Israelis so do they have like some magical skills or some like are you hypnotized? I mean, you can't control yourself. Why do you allow yourself to be corrupted? See, I don't want to entertain this conspiracy, but even if it was true, why this is happening? What they have done to you to be to make you corrupt and make you well? First of all, they didn't make you do anything, because if you engaged in the child trafficking or whatever, you know what Jeffrey was doing with his people, right? That was you there. You participated in that.
Were you running a blackmail operation on behalf of a foreign government? By the way, every single person in Washington, D.C. thinks that. I've never met anyone who doesn't think that. I don't know any of them that hate Israel, but no one feels they can say that. Why? And I think the longer that we play along with it, the more subterranean and creepy and hateful conversation actually becomes. So I think it's better just to say it right out loud. Did this happen? And of course, that question has been asked to the government of Israel, and their answer is, we're not going to tell you.
Okay, well, if nobody's going to tell you, why you keep talking about it? You know you're not going to get anything like from this Epstein list that you keep asking for. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get the list of the names of the victims. You're not going to get any footage. I mean, are you crazy? You think that they're going to allow you to see politicians and rich men, CEOs literally worth hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars? They're going to allow you to see that of some politician having sex with minors, right? In an island. Anyway, that's all I have to say. See you next time.